muhimu sasa ni mpango ya transformation ya Kenya, barabara tutakazojenga, maji tutakayofikisha kwa manyumba ya wananchi, stima tutakayofikisha kwa nyumba ya wananchi. Hawa vijana tuwapange na ajira, na wale wengine wote tuhakikishe ya kwamba tuna madawa katika mahospitali yetu. Na ndio mimi nataka niwaulize viongozi, let us unite so that we can have a plan and we can prosecute the agenda for the transformation of our nation. Matters 2027 will come and the people of Kenya will decide. For now, we must focus on making sure that we deliver on the commitments that we made. And I want to promise the people of Kenya that this administration, under my leadership, is going to focus on the transformation of Kenya, making sure that our teachers are in school, our children are being taught, our farmers have the support they need. We build roads, we connect electricity, we connect water, transform our nation. That is what is important for every Kenyan, irrespective of their tribe, irrespective of the region they come from, irrespective of the religion they profess, irrespective of any other consideration. And that is why we must work together as leaders and as a nation. Na mimi nataka niwatahadharishe, upande ule mwingine ni watu hawana mpango, hawana sera, hawana ideas, hawana chochote. Ati mpango yao yote ni vile watagawanya Wakenya. Kama hawasemi mambo ya ukabila, wanasema mambo ya sijui dini. Kama hawasemi mambo ya dini, wanasema sijui nani wa kutoka mulima, nani wa kutoka bonde, nani wa kutoka bara, nani wa kutoka ziwa, nani wa kutoka wapi. Kama hawafanyi hiyo, wanasema nani yako na kazi, nani hana kazi, nani yako na payslip, nani hana payslip. Mimi nataka niwaambie hawa jamaa, if you want a semblance of a competition, look for an agenda. Leave division. Division will not get you anywhere. And the people of Kenya are resolved to unite so that together we can transform our nation. We cannot transform our nation divided. We will transform our nation united. And that is why we are united as a people of Kenya. Watu wa Mandera, munasema tuungane ama tutengane? Tuungane ama tutengane Mandera? Wale wanasema tuungane nione kwa mkono, wale wanasema tuungane. Tuko pamoja? Sasa mimi nataka niwaambie hivi, usalama ni kitu ya muhimu sana. Usalama wa taifa letu la Kenya ni ya muhimu sana. Tunapigana na wahuni na wakora na wahalifu pamoja na magaidi. Na kwa sababu hawa magaidi tumewalemea jana, kwa sababu ya kutaka kulete hali ya hofu sehemu hii, ati walienda wakashika machifu wetu. I want to promise the people of Mandera, hawa machifu lazima warudi nyumbani, na hawa wakora na wagaidi na wahuni tutapambana na wao. Nimekuja na Deputy Inspector General wa polisi yuko hapa, Bwana Masengeli, na nimemwambia Bwana Masengeli yuko area hapa. Bwana Masengeli nishamueleza ya kwamba juu chini, kulia kushoto, mbele na nyuma, east or west, mpaka mambo haya yatatuliwe, kwa sababu we have significantly downgraded the ability of the Al-Shabaab to unleash violence to the people of northern Kenya. And we will not stop at anything until we make sure northern Kenya is safe like any other part of the Republic of Kenya. Munajua hawa wajinga walikuwa wanafikiria ya kwamba wakifanya hiyo maneno walifanya jana, ati ndio nisikuje hapa. Wako ni wajinga kabisa, ni wazimu. Mimi sio ati nimekuja Mandera. Nimekuja na Mandera na mimi nalala Mandera. Na ikizidi naweza kulala tena, kwa sababu hapa ni Kenya. And I must make it absolutely clear that every part of Kenya is important, and we are not going to cede an inch of our country to criminals and those who want to unleash mayhem in our republic. We will go after them, we will deal with them, and we will eliminate them. Tumekubaliana jameni? Watu wa Mandera tumekubaliana? Vijana muko? Sikizeni. Hapa Mandera tuko na program ya housing, nyumba 1000 tumetangaza ya kujenga hapa Mandera town. Nyumba 1000 tunajenga pale Ramo. Nyumba 1000 tunajenga pale Elwak. Soko ambayo nimekubaliana na ndugu wenu, tunajenga soko kubwa hapa Mandera town ya milioni 350. Tutasaidiana na county government hapa. Tutajenga soko ingine 6 ya milioni 300 in all the headquarters ya all the constituencies hapa Mandera. We have a...
Yes, that is President William Ruto when he is having the tour in northeastern Kenya, and you have seen how he is campaigning for 2027, and the strategy that he is using is that you want to make Kenya a great nation. You want to transform Kenya. You want to make Kenya one of the big nations that you can see, because he is saying the affordable housing, but you can see the president is really campaigning for 2027. He has already conquered the northeastern. You have seen the likes of Aden Duala, members of parliament from that region. They are saying they're going to support him when it comes to the 2027 general elections. And they are going to make sure in 2027, then he will be the next president. During that tour, he has addressed issues concerning the opposition. What does it mean? We have leaders who have been criticizing the Kenya Kwanza government. You know, the likes of Kalonzo Musyoka, the likes of Rigathi Gachagua. Gachagua has been in the government for the last 2 years, but since last year, when he was impeached, then a lot of issues have been rising up. Like Gachagua is revealing some of the top secrets in the government, which has raised a lot of concerns in the government. Loyal followers, of course, the friends of William Ruto, that is the president, they have been attacking Gachagua every day, saying that he should stop criticizing the Kenya Kwanza government, because when he was in the government, then he never showed the support. Now, why is he saying that the government is not working, and yet he has been in the government for the last 2 years? What does he had to do that he has not done? He should stop. Gachagua is also saying that they are being lied. You saw the tour that was happening in Western, whereby the likes of Paranya, Mumias, the East, Mumias, West, all the Luyas attended that tour, whereby the president was in Western. You know, he spent more than 5 days in Western part of Kenya. Now, Gachagua is saying that the same thing that happened to Kikuyu, then it's going to happen for the Western people. And the Western people, led by George and Natembeya, the governor was Nigishu. You know that Natembeya has been one of the key leaders who has been pushing for the Western region to start being recognized, because, you know, Musalia Mudavadi and also the very own Moses Wetangula, the Speaker of the National Assembly, they have not been representing the region in the right way. That is what Natembeya is saying. So when the president toured that area, you remember what others said, that he is trying to campaign. But the strategy that the president is using is that maybe you want to win these elections very early. You want to win this election very early in the morning. That is why he's trying to use this strategy of capturing the Lake region, capturing all those areas, so that he can win very early in the morning. But you know that in 2027, then things are going to be very different, because the Gen Z, you know, the Gen Z will be around. The Gen Z will be moving all around, and of course, they are going to register for voting. They want to vote for the general elections, but the president is using this strategy. He went to the western, now he's in the northeastern part of Kenya. whereby he is trying to capture the attention of the northeastern leaders. You have also seen how the leaders and also residents in the northern Kenya are pulling up in large numbers to support the president. And he is trying to say that this government has the right manifesto for this country. That is President tour in northeastern part of Kenya, which has raised a lot of concerns after the Western tour. The Western tour now he is in the northeastern part of Kenya. You remember also he was in Rift Valley, in Nyanza, he was there. But still, President has never made a step to go to the mountain. We're waiting to see when and what will happen if the president goes to the Mount Kenya region. Because the last time we saw them, it was during the Hembu meetings, and a lot of chaos developed, whereby they said Gachagua was separated from the top leaders, and that's why a lot of politics really started. I'm joined by Buru here. Buru, welcome, welcome. And give us your views about the president tour in Western, that is in northeastern part of Kenya. Does it mean that the president has started the campaign officially, or is he is trying to strategize for 2027 so that he can cover up what he lost in the mountain?
Yes, Bonnie, how are you? You can hear me?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, as you have said, the president has started the campaigns. It is because of the fear that is being instilled by Gachagua and the team. He is also afraid of the upcoming political party. He is afraid of the unknown. He doesn't know who will be the people to form the new party. So he is so much afraid, and already you can see the opposition, the Gachagua and the team, has already started campaigns. And the President, William Ruto, realized that if he does not start his campaigns, he will remain without supporters. So he is trying to mobilize new political bases because he already lost his main political base, which is Central Kenya. And for me, I want to say it is unfortunate that in our country, we are always in campaign mood. Even the president was saying the problem of Kenya is that we always campaign, whereas he is himself campaigning. So you can see how hypocritical our leaders are. He should lead by example because the general election is almost 3 years away. He should concentrate with work, but he has always been on the top of the roof of cars campaigning, and I don't know. I don't think that kind of style can give him time to concentrate with the work that Kenyans have given him. So I think he should lead by example. Let him settle down in State House and deliver for Kenyans. I'm also discouraging those who are in opposition. Instead of campaigning, they should be busy monitoring and putting the government into checks. You know, they should be busy checking where the government is not doing right, and then they give the alternative that they have. By campaigning all the time, we take our country backward. And we, as the citizens, the common wananchi, I think is also happy with what happens with our politicians because we embrace them and we encourage them to start early campaigns. This is something that should be discouraged and should also be condemned with the strongest term possible because it diverts our leaders from development. They even divert the money that they're supposed to take to projects. And that money is taken to bribe the citizens to support certain people, which I think is not fair for the economy. So that's how I see it. So it doesn't matter where he is going. And the most unfortunate bit is the narrative is the same. Promises, this road and that road. He has mastered all the roads in that side of the country. Just the same script that he used in central Kenya. He promised heaven on earth. He promised roads. That road coming from Jabini, I don't know heading where. The other one from Muranga, I don't know going where. He knew everything. He was mentioning them, just like he was doing in that part of the country. So let us stop this kind of politics of deception. Let our leaders settle and do development for our country. Then, few months to the general elections, they'll be given chance to start campaigning. So I think it is pathetic to see how we carry ourselves as a nation.
The firm position we have taken against the cartels in the sugar industry. Leo Kenya, last year hatukuagiza sukari kutoka nje the way we have been doing forever. Tumezalisha sukari ya kutosha mpaka wale wakulima walikuwa wanahangaika. Kampuni moja ya Mumias tumelipa bonus for the first time in the history of Kenya. That is also a fact. Hawa wenye wa magazeti hawa na watu wa mitandao hawawezi kusema kwa sababu ndio ukweli. Wanajificha kwa ukabila, wanajificha kwa migawanyiko, wanajificha kwa mambo ambayo hayana maana. Kenya hii yetu, mambo ya chai, we've got this year an additional 40 billion shillings to our tea farmers, from 180 billion to 210 billion. Mambo ya maziwa hivyo hivyo, mambo ya kahawa hivyo hivyo. That is why our competitors cannot discuss issues, because on issues they don't even have an idea of what the issues are. Ndio unasikia wanaongea mambo ya kabila hii na kabila ile, mulima hii mulima ile, sijui kona hii kona ile, sijui watu hawa na watu wale, because yao ni mambo ambayo they have no bearing on how Kenya can go forward.
They have no bearing. They have no bearing on how Kenya can move forward. That is President William Ruto when he has been having that tour in northeastern part of Kenya. Of course, you know, he is addressing the former deputy president, Rigiji, because people have been saying that they impeached Gachagua because of tribalism. He used to favor Kikuyus. He used to only support the Kikuyus, and that's why you have seen how he was impeached. But now we are having this issue whereby out of those projects that are being said there, where do Kenyans really experience those developments? Because when you talk to more than 10 Kenyans, they will tell you that they are still struggling. Those projects, they have not been able. Where do those money go to? Because if that is a housing project, we have to see. If it's that road, we have to see. Roads are very poor when it comes to these regions that are in remote areas. When you go to those areas, then you see there is no social amenities. You know that the hospitals are very poor when it comes to those areas. So where do those money go to? Because Kenyans still want to know where the money goes to, because when you have zero developments and then we have this kind of money being allocated, then who steals this money? Has corruption been habitually accepted because everyone is like, let me just be corrupted? But Kenyans know in 2027 things are going to eat. 2027 things are going to give another direction, because the Gen Z will vote and their vote will determine who is the next president.
Watu wa Garissa, assalamu alaikum. Mumekaribisha rais. Sasa tulikuwa hapa akiwa deputy president. Sasa yeye ndio mdosi hapa Kenya. Your Excellency, I want to thank you kwa sababu umefanya maajabu ambayo haikuonekana katika serikali zote zilipita. Hata hii bridge unaenda kufungua, Your Excellency. Hii bridge unaenda kufungua ni ile bridge ilijengwa na ukoloni. Mzee Moi hakujenga, Kibaki hakujenga, Uhuru hakujenga. Sasa hata ilikuwa ukipita inatetemeka kidogo. Lakini leo unaanzisha bridge zaidi ya 1.5 billion. Ile ingine zaidi tuko naye tutatumia kupitisha ngamia na ng'ombe. Ya pili, Your Excellency, utaingia historia. Jana tukiwa huko Wajia, umeweka sahihi kikatiba ya kusema mtoto wa Northeastern Mohamed na Abdi lazima wafanywe na wasibaguliwe wakienda kutafuta kipande na pasipoti. Hiyo ilikuwa shida kubwa sana hapa, Your Excellency. Your Excellency, ya tatu, tumetenga katika serikali zote barabara inaishia hapa Modogashi. Na ile unaanzisha kutoka Garbatula inapitia Kulamawe mpaka Madogashe mpaka Mandera hapa Swain. Your Excellency, itakuwa ni legacy yako na hii wafugaji na hawa Somali wa Northeastern. Sisi tulisikia juzi iko mtu mwingine tulimfukuza kazi, anatukana hii jamii. Ukasomena magli ninki shakala ngapi hina meelaha bajak shega ninki rigijile da rigijizo ngirezini. Mtu amepewa deputy president akashinda kushika kazi yake. Sio mtu ni si mimi nimepewa waziri na rais. Sasa mimi nikishinda kushika hiyo kazi yangu ya uwaziri na bunge inifukuze, si mimi ndio nimeaibisha Garissa? Nyinyi nataka niombe tu kwa mkono muonyeshe inshallah 2027 sisi wafugaji wote wa Northeastern, Isiolo, Marsabit, Turkana, uko wa Masaini na Samburu na Pokot, sisi tutapigia Mheshimiwa William Samuel Arap Ruto. Si ndio? Wangapi wanasema watapigia Mheshimiwa Ruto? Asanteni sana.
Haya, niko hapa na gavana wetu jameni, Mheshimiwa Jama, mpigeni makofi, yuko pale gavana wetu.
Northeastern region saying that they are going to support the president when it comes to 2027, and they are turning up in large numbers. They are very many, by the way. I've seen how many they have just came so that they can show their support to the Kenya Kwanza government. Thereby, leaders are saying in 2027, president is assured that they are going to vote for him without delaying. That is northeastern part, and of course we had several speeches from different people, and he was the president was accompanied by his deputy Rigathi Gachagua and also few leaders who really come from that region. We have seen the president addressing those people, and he is saying that anything that the government will do, then it will be beneficiary to the common mwananchi. As a common mwananchi following this April 24, you know this is a political discussion, and as we pioneer out this show, we are asking, do you think the president is going to clinch 2027 general elections? Because it has been a tough time for the president since he took power in 2022.
Mimi nataka niwaulize watu wa hapa Garissa. Mnanielewa? Si tunauza kahawa ng'ambo? Si tunauza chai ng'ambo? Si tunauza maziwa ng'ambo? Tukiuza nyama ng'ambo iko makosa? Iko makosa. Sasa kuna watu wengine wajinga wanatuambia ya kwamba tusichanje ng'ombe yetu ndio tukose soko ya kimataifa. Sio ni ukumbavu? Ama mnasemaje jameni? Tunaelewana? Mnasema sikizeni, kwani hii mambo ya kuchanja ng'ombe imeanza leo? Si hii tumefanya miaka yote? So ile kitu mimi nimesema ni kwamba tuwasaidie wafugaji kwa mara ya kwanza. Badala ya kutumia pesa zao kuchanja ng'ombe, sisi tuweke pesa ya serikali katika kuchanja ng'ombe zetu, mifugo yetu, ndio tuweze kuwa na products ama ile mazao, maziwa, nyama ambayo haina magonjwa, tuuze hapa Kenya na tuuze duniani kote. Mimi nilikuwa UAE kupanga soko ya nyama ya wafugaji wetu, lakini ile soko haitafanyika kama tutakuwa na magonjwa hapa Kenya. Tunaelewana jameni? Tuko pamoja? So mimi nawauliza watu wa Garissa, mimi nawauliza watu wa hapa Northern Kenya na wafugaji wote. Serikali tumewawekea mpango mzuri ya mambo ya production. Tumepunguza gharama ya mbegu. Tumeweka utafiti pesa nyingi ili tuwe na mbegu ya sawasawa. Tumepanga mambo ya kuwa na chanjo kuondoa magonjwa. Tumepanga mambo ya kuongeza wale wakulima, wale wafugaji ambao walipoteza mifugo yao. Tumesema tutawapatia mifugo 53,000 kwa familia 10,000 ili waweze kujiinua kwa sababu mifugo yao ilipotea na kiangazi. Nyinyi mnanielewa jameni? Na nimeweka pesa ya serikali shilingi bilioni 1 ya kupanga hiyo mambo mambo ya restocking. Ndio tuweze kusaidia familia ambazo walipoteza mali yao, wakapoteza mifugo yao, sio kwa sababu yao lakini kwa sababu ya kiangazi. Na hiyo program ya restocking imeanza juzi kule Wandera, inaendelea jana kule Wajia, leo inasukumwa hapa Garissa na itaenda kwa counties zetu zote ambazo wakulima walipoteza mifugo yao. Mimi nawauliza watu wa Garissa, tukiweka pesa ya serikali kwa mambo ya restocking iko makosa? Iko makosa? Mimi nawaambia hawa watu wametuzoea siku nyingi, lakini watakutana na mimi kwa sababu ni watu wako na kiburi sana. Wanajaribu kusema ya kwamba tukiweka pesa kwa mambo ya mifugo ati tumepoteza pesa. Mimi I want to tell them, we want to grow our agricultural sector. Our agricultural sector includes the livestock sector, and that is why we must invest public resources in promoting livestock development. Mambo ya promoting good quality breeds, ensuring that we get rid of diseases, and we undertake disease control, and we also make sure that we have markets for our products, whether they are products, dairy products, or livestock products, meat, milk, and all the other products. And that is what the government of Kenya is going to do. Tumeelewana jameni? Sasa wewe mtu ya Garissa nataka nikuulize. Wewe unaenda kumsikiza mtu ya kupanda ndengu, ati anakuambia usichanje ng'ombe yako. Yeye hana ng'ombe. Wewe utafuata hiyo maneno ya mtu ya na wewe umekuwa ukichanja ng'ombe yako miaka hii yote. Alafu mtu akuja hapa na Kiingereza na Kiswahili kingine akwambia ati usichanje ng'ombe yako. Ati kuna mtu mwingine sijui anaitwa Bill Gates sijui nani. Bill Gates hako wapi hapa Garissa? Kuna Bill Gates hapa Garissa? Si hii ng'ombe ni ng'ombe yetu? Si hawa madaktari ni madaktari wetu? Si hii dawa tumetoa hapa Kabete? Sasa Bill Gates anaingilia wapi hapa ndani? Hiyo ni mambo ya upumbavu na wakwende kabisa. Sijui kama tunaelewana ndugu zangu. So that is why mimi nawashukuru. Nashukuru county government ya hapa Garissa. Tayari almost 15% ya livestock ambayo iko hapa Garissa imechanjwa tayari, na hiyo kazi inasonga mbele, na nimeamrisha watu wa wizara ya mifugo kuhakikisha kwamba hii program inasonga mbele. We get rid of diseases, we promote our livestock, we make sure that we create markets so that we can invest and create a bigger economy around our livestock industry. Na hiyo kazi ndio tutafanya pamoja. Tumekubaliana? Mimi nimefika hapa leo pia kwa sababu ya development ya area hii. Hapa airport yenu hii watu walikuwa wanakaa chini ya miti wakingojea ndege. Si namna hiyo? Sasa tumeweka hapo pesa milioni 700 kujenga terminal, na mimi nataka nimshukuru Jama, governor wa hapa, ameweka pesa kwa terminal. Na mimi niweka pesa kwa runway kuhakikisha kwamba we extend the runway na tunaimodernize iwe runway ya kisasa. Ndio tuwe na daily flights kutoka hapa Garissa, watu waende Nairobi, tuendeleshe uchumi, tuendeleshe biashara, Kenya iweze kusonga mbele. Tumeelewana jameni? Na jana nilisema ile ubaguzi imeendelea miaka 60. Watu wa hapa Northern Kenya wanaulizwa maswali kutoka hapa mpaka Johannesburg wakati wanatafuta kitambulisho. Nimesema hiyo maswali ikome. Kila Mkenya apatiwe identity card vile Mkenya mwingine anapatiwa. Mtoto ya Garissa na Northern Kenya wakuwe sawa na watoto wa sehemu zingine za Kenya. Wakati mtu anatafuta kitambulisho, ile maswali mtoto Eldoret anaulizwa, wa Garissa haulizwe. Ile mtoto wa Kisumu anaulizwa, wa Garissa haulizwe. Lakini sio ya kwamba wa Garissa haulizwe maswali mengine tofauti na wale wa Kenya wengine. That is what we are saying. Tunataka kuondoa ubaguzi wa aina yoyote ndio Kenya iwe sawa. Ama mnataka Kenya ya ubaguzi? Si tutengeneze Kenya ya watu wote ikuwe sawa. Nimesema vile vile ya kwamba vile tulifungua Kenya ile ingine, tukaweka ile transport corridor ambayo iliweka reli, iliweka mambo ingine infrastructure. Nimesema sasa tunaweka transport corridor ingine. Tunaanzia Isiolo, tunapeleka hiyo barabara mpaka Mandera. Hiyo barabara imengojewa kwa miaka karibu 50. Mimi nataka ni promise watu wa hapa Garissa na watu wa Northern Kenya, hiyo barabara ndani ya miaka 4 tutakuwa tumekamilisha barabara 750 kilometers kutoka hapa, kutoka Isiolo, Kulamawe, Modogashe, Samatar, ifike Wajia, itoke Wajia iende Tarbaj, itoke Tarbaj iende Elwak, itoke Elwak iende Ramo mpaka Mandera, kwa sababu ndio hii dunia ifunguke. Ama nyinyi mnasema tufanye namna gani? Ama mnataka tufanye namna gani? Tuendelee namna hiyo? Tuendelee namna hiyo? Ati kuna watu wengine wananikasirikia ati kwa sababu nimesema barabara hiyo ijengwe. Kwani hii Northern Kenya si Kenya? Wawache hiyo mchezo nani? Hii Kenya lazima itembee pamoja. Ama mnasemaje watu wa dunia hii? Tuendelee ama tuendelee? Tuendelee ama tuendelee? Tuko pamoja? Kwa hivyo mambo mengine mengi tutasema. Pia hapa naenda kuanzisha mambo ya affordable housing. Mimi naenda kujenga soko yenu kubwa hapa ya karibu shilingi milioni 500, kwa sababu tunataka kubadilisha Kenya, na kubadilisha Kenya na kubadilisha kila sehemu ya Kenya. Hakuna sehemu ya Kenya itawachwa nyuma tena. We must move on together as one nation, one people with a common destiny. Ama mnasemaje ndugu zangu? Tuko pamoja? Tuko pamoja? Bas, watu wa Garissa mnasema tuendelee ama tuendelee? Hebu ni wale wanasema tuendelee, dunia hiyo tuendelee. Basi niko na viongozi wengi hapa, niko na Deputy President wa Republic of Kenya, anaitwa Professor Kithure Kindiki. Unajua huyu kijana? Huyu ako chonjo sana na amesoma kibao. Niko hapo na Aden Bare Duale. Unajua huyo jamani rafiki yangu, si ndio? Na tunatembea pamoja hii safari, si namna hiyo? Tuko hapa na governor wetu bwana Jama, ndio yule pale, mpigeni makofi. Niko pale na governor Mahmud wa kutoka kule Marsabit, mpigeni makofi. Niko na wabunge wetu, tuko na Dego, mbunge wetu wa hapa Garissa Town, Major Deko yuko hapa. Tuko na Angol, mbunge wetu wa area hii.
Hey, that is the president campaign for 2027. He is very serious by the saying that 2027 everything will be in the right order. That is what the president is saying, and you have also seen how he is trying to contain issues of corruption, issues of underdevelopment in the country, like he has performed. That is the president when he was speaking in Mandera, and also accompanied by leaders from that region. Hii ni strategy ya president ya kuchukua kura za Northeastern ama ako mawindoni.
Kwani unaniuliza swali?
Yes. Au kuna kama bado?
Sasa nimekuja. What is the question?
Is this the strategy for president ya kupata kura za huko Northeastern, za Western, ndio sasa kuja Central? Unafikiri kwa nini ajaenda Central Kenya ama Coastal region? Bado anatembea huko mbalimbali, ako huko kwa peripherals.
Mimi ninasema ni sawa rais kutembea mahali popote, lakini kama vile nilivyosema hapo awali, siasa zetu hazina uadilifu, hazina mwelekeo, hazina mpangilio. Rais amekaa miaka 2 kitu na nusu hivi sasa katika uongozi, na unaona ameanza kampeni ya 2027, kumaanisha hakuna kazi itakuwa ikifanyika. Sasa ni marubano kati yake na the former deputy president, which I'm saying is unfortunate. It's a strategy, yes, to try to get the nomads to support the government, but is it the good thing to do at this time? So mimi nasema ya kwamba tutulize ama tupunguze siasa. Wale ambao wako katika upinzani pia wako na jukumu ya kuhakikisha ya kwamba wanasaidia serikali katika kuongea mambo ya corruption yenye inaendelea, kuangalia miradi, kukumbusha serikali mambo ambayo iliahidi, kuhakikisha ya kwamba serikali imetimiza. Kuna mambo mengi ambayo serikali ya Kenya Kwanza iliahidi wa Kenya, na baadaye wakaanza kudivert, wakaanza kuleta mambo ambayo hawakuwa wameahidi wa Kenya. So wale wenye wako katika upinzani, if they are motivated by goodwill to see our country go to another level, what they are supposed to be doing at this time, it is to remind the government, it is to pressurize the government to fulfill its promises to the electorates. So what they are doing right now, they are just thinking about their positions. They are not thinking about improving our economy. They are not thinking about the future generations. That is why the priorities of our leaders, I normally say, they are misplaced, because they only think of themselves, but they don't think about the nation and what we should do to be like other developed nations. Hatuwezi endelea kuitwa the third world miaka yote, Bonnie. The third world, the dark world, the nations that have not developed, because we have very few billionaires and millions of poor people who live, we say that they live below poverty line. Those are people who survive with less than $2 a day. Some people in Kenya even making 100 shillings is very hard every day. So those are the things that should be concerning those in power. But what concerns them is how many people are supporting me, how many people will vote for me. So we campaign when we are not supposed to be campaigning. This should be a season of development. The president, I said, he is criticizing those who are campaigning as if he himself is not campaigning. That's very hypocritical. So, and also I think even prioritizing the vaccination for cows when we have not taken care of the health of the people, it's unfortunate that right now he's thinking about cows more than he is thinking about the people. So when you see the president focusing so much on the vaccination of cows, I can tell you for sure there is something he is after, because he is talking of setting aside some billions for vaccination. Whereas if you go to the hospitals, you see gaps, So I think he doesn't know how to prioritize issues. If what is happening is a donation, if these vaccinations are donations, he is supposed to tell the people of Kenya, you know what? This is not a government project. It is a project from Bill Gates. And I think that is so. But he is afraid of telling Kenyans the truth. Not he is afraid. He is opportunistic. He is telling Kenyans that the government is doing vaccination, which is not true. Which is not true. So this is aid from America. This is aid from Bill Gates. So let him focus on the things we voted him to do. The reason why I talk and I have the moral authority to talk and criticize this government is because I voted for it. I supported the government of William Ruto. I campaigned for the government of William Ruto. So if he succeeds, we who voted for him succeeds. But sometimes I feel he is off the track. He is off the track. And Bonnie, you're
Sometimes
sleepy.
he is off the track. That is
Yes.
present when he is addressing. But he has been making sure that he will defend the country. He is the president. He is defending the country in all dimensions. He was in Western, whereby in Western leaders came in large numbers. He was in Nyanza, whereby we saw also in coastal region. It's like president is just trying to get those numbers very slowly. So if Mountain will not give him the votes, then it shows that it's going to be a easy time for him, because if he has accumulated all those votes from Nyanza, Western, Rift Valley, Northeastern, and it shows that he is going to win. And of course, the opposition will not see anything. Opposition is being created. Matiang'i will be there. Kalonzo, of course, he said that he will be in the ballot. As we know that even the former DP Rigathi Gachagua said that he will be vying in that general elections.
Wale Wabukusu naenda pande hii, Malabori naenda pande hii, Waidao, Waisua, Marama, Banyala, Basoso wanaenda pande hii, Kabras naenda pande hii. Hapo ndio shida yenu iko kama jamii, na lazima mketi chini mjipange nyinyi wenyewe bila kupangwa na mtu mwingine, na msiongee na mtu sana. There is nothing for elimination. The personal gain ni Raila, kwa sababu alileta watu wangu nao kwa serikali. Nyinyi mlipoteza, you changed one for one. Okay, hiyo mlichezewa. Number 2, pale kwa hii serikali rais ndio mwenye kuamua kila kitu. Hata ukileta mawaziri ngapi, is a waste of time. Yeye mwenye ndio mwenye kuamua, wako tu pale. Na tangu broad based kuje, hakuna maisha ya Wakenya yamebadilika. Gharama ya maisha igali iko vile ilikuwa. SHA is not working. Chief is not working. Payslip imefinywa. Ndio tunataka kurescue, kuiokoa payslip. Madeni ya Kenya haijalipwa. Barabara hazijajengwa. Hata juzi hiyo rais amekuja huko, ile barabara hakuna kitu naendelea. Nothing, what has changed? Unajua tukisema hii broad base ni mzuri kama kuna kitu imebadilika. Lakini as we speak today, watoto ya university wako nyumbani. hawana pesa ya kwenda kulipa. Hospitali haina dawa. So what is the gain of the broad based government? Hiyo broad based ni watu tu wametafutiwa kazi ndio waunge rais mkono wanyamaze, na wamenyamaza, rais anaendelea, hakuna kitu kimebadilika, ni vile ilikuwa. Mimi sitaki niongee mambo ya Kindiki kwa sababu huyo ni mfanyikazi wa rais. Sasa mimi ni kiongozi amechaguliwa, utaongeaje juu ya mfanyikazi? Yeye anafanya vile rais anataka, na hiyo ni uamuzi ya rais. Sasa huyo ni mfanyikazi yake, anamwambia sema hii, fanya hii, fanya hii, fanya hii. Mimi sina shida na sina shughuli na yeye, kwa sababu mimi sasa niko kwa mambo yangu, na mambo yangu ni vile hii Kenya tutapanga, tuone vile itakaa. Mimi hakuna mjumbe ninafuatilia, lakini mimi naheshimu viongozi wote wako na msimamo. Huyu Karasinga ni kiongozi yako na msimamo, mimi namheshimu. Huyu kijana anaitwa Salasia, Peter Salasia, it's a young man but with brains. Hako na akili mingi sana huyo kijana. Anacheka tu namna hiyo, lakini zile point uliona siku rais alikuja pale vile aliongea. Anaongea vile wananchi wanataka kusikia, kwa sababu yeye ni mtu ya ground. Mimi namheshimu sana. Huyu kwa boka anatetea watu yake na hakuna makosa amefanya. Unajua, the only thing we have in common with them, mimi pia ni mtetezi ya wananchi na hao viongozi wanatetea wananchi. Mimi hakuna mtu nimefuatili. Mimi huyu kwa boka sijaongea naye, hata sina simu yake. Salasia, I have not seen him for a long time. Nimemuona juzi hapa tukifungua ofisi ya DAP. You know, huyu Karasinga, I talked to him wakati ya impeachment. Akiniambia anaambiwa ni impeach na watu yake hawataki. So mimi ni kuheshimiana na heshimiana na viongozi ambao wako na msimamo, because mimi naamini ni mzuri sana kuheshimu raia. Ndio.
Mheshimiwa Rigiji, maswali matatu. Swali la kwanza ni nafasi ya vijana, kwa sababu tumekuona kule wa Mnyoro ukiwa na wageni tofauti tofauti wa siasa, marafiki wa siasa. Labda kuna vijana katika huo mrengo ambao utakuwa unazungumza na Wakenya hivi karibuni. Swali la pili, kuna taxes, ushuru ambao unafinya Mkenya wa chini. Labda kama mtakuwa na nafasi ya kuendesha serikali, je, ni ushuru upi huu ambao mtaondolea Mkenya wa chini? Swali la tatu, what are your chances of winning, Your Excellency?
What are the chances of deputy president winning if he becomes the president in that 2027? The campaigns are very tough. Matiang'i, William Ruto. We also have Natembea will be in the ballot, and very many leaders. But the battle will be between, very sure, Gachagua, either Matiang'i and the president Matiang'i or Gachagua. That is the competition. And Gachagua is trying to escape those questions from the press that in 2027 he has to show how he's going to win. Buru, unafikiri Wakenya watapigia Gachagua kura hata akisimama kesho, ama wanamdanganya?
Boni, wacha niseme hivi, katika siasa chochote chawezekana. Wakati Kibaki alikuwa rais, watu wa Kenya walikuwa wamesema tulishapata Kenyatta ambaye alikuwa ni Mkikuyu, sasa tuko na Kibaki Mkikuyu, hatuwezi kuwa na rais mwingine Mkikuyu in 2012. Lakini kwa sababu siasa ni siasa, wanasiasa wengi walimsupport Uhuru Kenyatta hata ambao sio wa Kikuyu, kwa sababu wakati wa kuunda serikali haijalishi ni nani ambaye ameshikilia uongozi wa urais, kile kinajalisha ni kina nani wametengeneza coalition ambayo iko na numbers ya kuleta ushindi. Kwa hivyo wakiangalia waone ya kwamba Rigathi Gachagua akona numbers, because I say here and I keep repeating, politics is a game of numbers. How many votes can you bring on the table so that we, the rest of us, can support you? So Gachagua knows very well. And the other day here, I read for you the Mount Kenya regions, that the registered voters, if we include Nairobi, which has around 1 million votes from the central Kenya, we have 7 million registered voters. And remember, apart from the people in central region, we are scattered all over. When you go to Kilifi, go to Mombasa, go to Kakamega, go to Kisumu, go to Eldoret, go to Kitale, you find that there are so many people from central Kenya. So in the bag of Gachagua, we are counting around 7.5 million votes. So there is a high possibility that if this man is cleared by the court, he can have a very high chance of becoming the president of Kenya, because other people are likely to say he already have votes. He just need few votes to become the president. And because they would like to be in that government, you get people to form a coalition with. And that is how Uhuru became the president, even though people were saying Kibaki was a president. So when politicians are deciding who is to become the president, they don't care much about the tribe. What they care is about having a winning strategy that will make them remove the incumbent and form a new government. And I think that's how it will happen. If at all the court is going to clear him. Remember, for him to be barred from contesting, he said that even Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto, they formed the government, even if they had the toughest case at the ICC. So there is a high possibility that you continue fighting in courts so that he is cleared to vie. But even if he will not be cleared, I want to assure you that he will be among the people who will form that government, that new government, because whoever he will point and say, this is the person I am supporting, there is a high possibility that will become the president of Kenya. Yes, Bonnie.
For the first time in more than 2 years, we now have the list of those people registered as members of Jubilee Party and as held by the ORPP. And it is good for the members of Jubilee to know that our register has a total of 7,110,525 members who are on the list or on the register of ORPP ambao ni wa Jubilee. We will continue registering more and more members as we revitalize the party, so that we can also be able to give a good platform, give good support to our presidential candidate, Fred Matiang'i. The name of Fred Matiang'i was floated by people in Narok. It was floated by our members in Murang'a. We have had members in Kiambu, in Kajiado, and we'll continue going to very many other counties so that we can get the concurrence of the members of Jubilee as to who do they want to be their presidential candidate. The thinking is that once we have Matiang'i as the presidential candidate for Jubilee, he will then join the other presidential candidates like Kalonzo Musyoka with Wiper. Wamarwa has also declared that he wants to run on DAP ticket. We know Omtata was doing a research. If he is still interested, we would want him to come on to the table. And many other people who have not yet declared. Those who would want to declare, I think Mother has also said that she will be looking for votes. So that all these people sit around one table. And it is our prayer that they will be able to settle on one name, who then we can field and face Ruto as the candidate for UDA or as the candidate for KK. And for that reason, it is important to say, why are members favoring Matiang'i? Matiang'i has been serving in Jubilee or under Jubilee government for the last 10 years. Many of the projects that we have ongoing across the country, many of which are stored already. Some have some little progress that we can see. Others have been forgotten, totally unknown by those in the government this time. Programs like Edu Afya, free education, NHIF, Huduma number, dams that were being done, roads that were being done. We were targeting to do 10,000 kilometers of road. We didn't achieve all of it. Electrification, connectivity, all these things. Vision 2030, including how we were implementing the housing issue, dealing with the issues of taxation. Haya maneno yote ni mambo ambayo sisi kama wanajubilee tunaamini ya kwamba Matiang'i ana uwezo wa kuyatatua kwa haraka. We want a person.
Yes, that is Jeremiah Kioni, and I've been just asking myself. Jeremiah Kioni has been in the politics for the last 30 years, but he has never stood as a man and he said that he wants to vie as the president. Now you can see how he is backing Matiang'i for 2027. Why not Kioni? You know, personally, if I could be asked, then I would say, then let's back up Jeremiah Kioni for a president, because he has been loyal to Jubilee for a long time. Now saying that Matiang'i has been in those projects actively for the last 10 years. Buru, why not? Why Matiang'i and why Matiang'i and not Kioni? What makes Kioni not to vie for president?
Unajua, Bonnie, there is something we call favor. And the favor, gaining favor with people, it comes because of several factors. Kioni lacks the fire that comes with those politicians who are able to pull the crowd. Remember, Kioni was the deputy president or the vice of Musalia Mudavadi when he was contesting as the president. And it is said that even in the polling station where Kioni was voting, Musalia Mudavadi did not get a single vote, not even for Kioni himself. So don't compare Kioni with Matiang'i. And also, remember, we don't know how Matiang'i can perform because he has just been a minister. He has not been in politics. So comparing Kioni and Matiang'i is comparing someone who is not very, it's not a good comparison because we don't know how Matiang'i can perform. However, personally, I like Matiang'i because he's very principled, very principled. He can be very tough. Kenyans are very stubborn. They require a tough president. You see how we are disturbing Ruto? If Kioni becomes the president, he will die because he's a soft guy. You can't compare him with someone like Matiang'i. Kenya requires a very strong person as a president with a big heart.
Then we go for Didmus Baraza.
Don't talk about those guys. Don't. Just bringing jokes in serious politics. Those are jokers. They are very far from becoming presidents. You know, in Kenya, even Matiang'i, unless he's supported by people like Gachagua, Uhuru Kenyatta, and those old leaders who are old, old in politics, it's very hard for him to become the president of Kenya. It is a gradual process. You don't just wake up one day and say, today, I'm going to become the president of Kenya. Remember how many times Emilio Mwai Kibaki had tried to become the president of Kenya, but he was failing. It's only William Ruto who has tried just once and become the president. So, therefore, even Matiang'i will have a very hard time. First of all is to convince all the Kisiis to support him, because politics in Kenya is tribal. So when they go to the negotiation table, they will ask Matiang'i, okay, you want to become the president of Kenya. Can we do the assessment of how many votes are you likely to bring on the table? If his votes will not be more than the others, then he will have to explain why he should be supported by those who have more numbers than him. And that is how he will be locked out. Maybe he can be given the second position, which I also doubt. The best position he'll be given in the coalition will be the prime cabinet secretary, because he doesn't have the numbers. He can become a very good president. And I wish Kenyans can put the tribes aside and support somebody like Matiang'i. If anything, if not Matiang'i, I would propose someone like Maraga. Someone who has a track record of performance. Someone who hates corruption, So, let me say, we are yet to know exactly who will become the president of Kenya in 2027. But I can tell you, even if I know Ruto will try everything possible to remain, but I can tell you he is sensing danger. That is why he has decided to start campaigning. That is why he is running up and down and thinking, who are those people that will support me in 2027? Because his strong base is already gone. And it pains the president to imagine that people who gave him almost 5 to 6 million votes will not be supporting him in 2027. In central Kenya, the much he can get, it's a maximum of around 15, not 15, but 1.5 million votes. Because there are so many people, it's a mixture. So that is the much he can get from central Kenya. So you can see.
And we are picking somebody from outside the mountain and somebody from a small community, because Kisii are not a big community. We have smaller communities, but it is one of the small communities in this country. And we are picking a name that is known. And one of the reasons why we did the 2010 constitution, we are saying it should be a constitution that can give us a presidential candidate from any corner of this country. So the picking of Matiang'i, before anything else, is one, I would want somebody to put another name on the table that is better than his. Again, this is competition. But two, as Jubilee Party, we also need a person who can help us. Parties are able to mobilize in this country better when they have a presidential candidate. That is another thing. That's another reality. But Matiang'i, we pick him for what reason? When Uhuru was running the country, and William Ruto decided to go back to the rooftop and campaign, you remember when they were told this is Tanga-Tanga? The person who was left deputizing Uhuru was Matiang'i. He is the one who was left to helping Uhuru to manage the country. He was the one chairing the cabinet subcommittees. And I remember we went before that subcommittee with members, leadership of Nyandarua. And he had the whole cabinet seated on one side, and we were seated on the other side. And he was the one chairing, having been given that authority by the president. And the issue was, what do you want done in Nyandarua? We want a potato factory. Why? What is the problem? We want RAD. There is no water. There is no electricity. The Minister for Water, for RAD, and electricity are here. They give a commitment. The executive or the technocrats are behind them. And whatever we wanted done was being done in that boardroom. That is the kind of a person we want to come back and manage this country.
Yes, Jeremiah Kioni is saying that they also want to mobilize Kenyans to join Jubilee, and also they are choosing Matiang'i because he can face William Ruto. That is one of the reasons that Kioni is saying they need someone who can face one-on-one with William Ruto when it comes to these debates and also 2027. Kioni, they are making sure that the Jubilee government, the Jubilee party is being represented in the government. Remember, this is a Freak 24. I can see we have Awesome in the comment section is saying, in Kenya, before you qualify for president, first you have to have two things, money and numbers. Without these two things, you become a joker. That is what also Buru has said. We also have someone saying that the region is already confused. Jubilee is bringing in the joker Matiang'i. You have the Wiper and Gachagua. What will the end game here? Also, Central region is scared by numbers of Northern region. In fact, the Somali people in a thorn on the flesh, business-wise, they are becoming competitive. It's a challenge to this region. That is, I was some in the comment section there. Continue sending those comments in our comment section there. Kioni has forgotten that Matiang'i was an opportunist who came in because of difference between Uhuru and Ruto. He has never been elected anywhere apart from useless appointment. Useless appointments? Buru, do you believe that Matiang'i was just given these dockets because he was just there? Did he not prove to Kenyans that he can be the cabinet secretary since when he was given those ministries, education and also interior? Do you agree with what Wilson was saying?
Let me start with, before I comment on the comments, let me start by his appointment to Jubilee Party. I think the best thing would have been for him to at least contest for something else before thinking of contesting as the president of Kenya. And the other thing, taking Jubilee Party as the party which will propel him to become the president of Kenya, I think it is not a good idea. In Kenya, once a political party dies, it never comes back. And I want you to think of KANU. We had a very powerful party called KANU. KANU died, but there are still people hanging there, believing KANU is still there. Jubilee is dead, but there are people in Jubilee who are still in denial that Jubilee is dead. We had PNU. There are people who, up to date, they are still in denial that Jubilee, that PNU died. So in Kenya, we are used to embrace new political parties. So right now, nobody is thinking about Jubilee and what Kioni is saying. People are waiting to see or to be told which is the new party that Gachagua is going to launch. So Matiang'i will be there in the negotiation table. You'll be given a cabinet position somewhere. But in the position of the president, he qualifies because one, academically he qualifies. He has a very strong personality, but he doesn't have what it takes to be able to campaign in Kenya. Just like a comment which Awesome has made there, that in Kenya you need money to become the president. Why do you need money? These Kenyans, they believe for them to vote for you, they need to be bribed. Or they want to see that you are a very rich guy who is able to dish goodies to them. Matiang'i doesn't have much money to be able to campaign all the corners of this nation. And I don't see who giving him his money for campaign. Nobody is going to give him money to become the president. Where will he get the resources? Campaigns in Kenya are very expensive. Leave alone presidency. Even becoming an MCA in Kenya, it is very tough if you don't have money. The other thing is about the comment down there that Matiang'i was an opportunistic leader who has never been elected, that is very true. Matiang'i has never been tested. We don't know what he's able to do in terms of being voted. He has never been voted by anybody. Let him go and contest us an MCA somewhere. Then we see that he is able to convince people to follow him. And also, Osam said that the Mount Kenya region is afraid of the North, something like that. There was a comment which was saying the Mount Kenya is afraid of the northeastern region. And I want to say that is not true. Mount Kenya doesn't compare.
You was talking about the Somalis.
Yes. Mount Kenya as a region does not compete with other regions, especially in term of numbers. If it is numbers, we have numbers. And the good thing is that they don't support two people at the same time. They only follow one leader at a time. That is why you saw those people who defied Kibaki, they became political rejects. Those people who will not follow Gachagua this time around will become political rejects. They will die politically. That is why in Mount Kenya, we don't feel threatened by any other region because we vote as a bloc. That is why you had people talk of Duraku, Kumera, Kumera. We go even for those people who are in the hospital to go and vote. So we don't just talk, we vote because we know the power of voting. Why do Mount Kenya region vote the way they vote? They vote because they want someone to protect their businesses, to protect their economy. And thinking that we feel threatened by the Somalis, I can tell you, Osam, that is, you are badly mistaken. We work together with the Somalis. Go to Italy and see who are the people who are working with Somalis. They are people from Mount Kenya. That is, to a larger extent, we benefit more than any other region when it comes to doing business with the Somalis. All the clothes that are being sold in Thika, Muranga, Nyeri, everywhere, we get them from Italy. So we see them as business partners, not as competitors, because we have the common goal of doing business. The Somalis, when there is political instability, they are affected just like people of Central Kenya. So they are not our competitors, they are our business partners, and that is how we see them.
Yes, Mburu see that we see them as the business partners and not competitors, the Somalis. And also seeing that Mburu, the region is having a hard time. The Somali people are taking over business that is dominated by Central region. He's saying that, also we're saying that the Central region now is being overtaken when it comes to the business. That Somalis have taken over business areas.
Just as I said, just as I said, Bonnie, for us, we believe things change. And we take new opportunities. So just as I said, and that is the position of the truth,
that the Somalis are not our competitors business-wise.
Over projection of revenue is what has led this country to the accumulation.
Somalis are our business partners. They bring in new ideas. And you know, people from central Kenya, it's not that they know everything, but they buy ideas from other people and they try. So I don't know who or where Osam is getting the information about they are taking over. For us, I can tell you for sure, we benefit more from Somali community than any other region or any other tribe, because we get those things from Somalis. We go doing hawking, and you know, we when it comes to business, for us, our people don't shy, which I commend so much. We are getting things from Isli, we take them up to Uganda and Tanzania. So they have brought more opportunities. They have created more jobs for our people. So we don't see them as people who are overtaking us. We work almost the same. So our interest is the same when it comes to business. And I don't want to dwell much on that, but the truth is we don't feel threatened by any region or any tribe. For us, we are focused on how can we benefit from other people. That is how we see things.
William Ruto. Mimi kama kiongozi katika taifa hii yetu ya Kenya, mwenye nilikupenda na ninakupenda, nilikutafutia kura, umenipatia majukumu, ninatekeleza. Ningependa nikuombe peupe kwamba kuna watu wenye wanataka kuchochea Mheshimiwa waziri wako Justin Muturi, mtoto yake alishikwa akapotea. Wewe kama mzazi, mtoto wako akishikwa mateka apotee, huwezi kuwa na furaha. Sasa Muturi amekasirika, anataka kujua ni nani alishika mtoto wake. Wengine wameanza kusema Muturi must resign, Muturi must be sacked. Shame on you. How do you sack a father kwa sababu he's concerned about abduction of his child? Ndio ningependa kumwambia President Ruto, usisikize wale ambao wanasema umwachishe Justin Muturi kazi kama waziri. Kitu ya maana yenye utafanya, ukubali kwamba ukiona watu wakiuliza maswali kuhusu abduction, sio kwamba wanasema serikali ndio inatenda hiyo. Wanasema wewe kama president, chukua jukumu kama president wetu, uhakikishe maneno ya abduction ifanye nini? Ishi. That's all. I mean, even if I'm the president of Kenya tomorrow, you will expect me to stop abductions. Otherwise, mtakuwa mmenipigia kura ya nini? And therefore, I stand with the president to support him positively. Naona vijana wadogo, akina Kimani Ichung'wah, sijui nani, ndio wanaambia president ati mwaka petroli kwa moto, fukuza Justin Muturi. No, Muturi is speaking on behalf of millions of Kenyans wenye wanataka maneno ya abduction ikwishe.
Now the issue of abductions, I've seen what is happening. CS Muturi, he was nominated recently in the cabinet secretary area, but now he is complaining, and he is also slamming the government when it comes to the abduction cases and many stories. Do you think that Muturi also wants to get that recognition? You want to use this chance now to make Kenyans know him? Why do you think that he is attacking the government that has chosen him when he was jobless?
Point of correction. I want you to know that Muturi is not attacking the government. And I like the explanation of Harware. In Swahili we say, aliyewahi umwa na nyoka akiona ukamba hutoroka. If you have ever been bitten by a snake, when you see something that looks like a snake, you get afraid. Today, Muturi is able to relate to the other parents who are going through the torture of seeing their children being abducted because his own child was abducted. He knows the pain. We can talk the way we are talking as if it's a joke, but if you are a father, you can imagine going for several days without knowing where is your child. I'm just trying to put myself in the shoes of Matiang'i, not Matiang'i, of Muturi, because I have a child, and I can imagine when my child goes missing and I don't know where is my child, how it can feel and how it can be. So Muturi has gone through that process. He went through that torture, and he explained very well that I called the president and I informed the president that my son has been abducted. And the president called the inspector of police. I don't know whether it was the inspector or someone in the police sector. And they say they confirmed they had the son of Muturi. And through the order from the president, he was released. What does that tell you? That tells you, Bonnie, that the president of the Republic of Kenya knows who are the abductors. And that is why Muturi as a father became very bitter. To imagine that for him, he is a cabinet secretary. He can access the president, but the commoners down there, they cannot access the president. They don't have any godfather anywhere to rely on. So that is why, because of what he went through, he is fighting a genuine fight, because he knows the pain that parents go through when their children are missing. And to make it worse, some of those children were not found alive. They died. Who killed them? The government is supposed to be accountable to the people of Kenya. If they distance themselves from abductions, then they are supposed to arrest the abductors and prosecute them. Who is going to do that? So, William Ruto and his government, however much they will try to distance themselves from kidnappings, it is Kenyans can see that they have a case to answer. Kenyans can see that they know what has been happening. And it is very painful that we voted for this government because of what they were saying. They were promising Kenyans that there will never be any political persecution. They said there will also never be any abductions in Kenya. They promised us paradise. The way Ruto was talking is, we could imagine how Kenya was going to be under the leadership of Ruto. It was a little heaven on earth. But the moment he got power, he forgot anything he had said previously. And he started acting, let me not say, like what? What I wanted to say.
Heaven.
We were promised heaven, and we could visualize that the dream world that Ruto was promising us, a place where there will be no extrajudicial killings, a country without abductions, a country of worshippers, a country where people will never be arrested because of having divergent views from that of the government. I mean, we would see that beautiful country, but I can tell you it is opposite of what he had said. He never meant what he was saying. And it's very unfortunate.
Kusema kweli, I think wenzangu, kwa heshima zote, naona sasa ushawishi mkubwa utakuwa ni kwamba ngoja tutoe hawa watu wa Kenya kwanza. Na ikiwa tunataka yule mwenye maarufu ambaye amesimama na kila mtu, amemondokea kila mtu okay? Hata wakati wa Kibaki tumekubaliana, wakati kijana Amalo alituacha, it was expected kwamba mimi sasa nitakuwa the next vice president, lakini tukakubali mzee Mudi Awori akachukua.
Mheshimiwa Kalonzo, Raila amekuunga mkono mara 3.
Ameniunga mkono?
Umeunga mkono Raila, samahani, umeunga mkono Raila mara 3.
Ndio.
Na mara kwa mara umesikika ukisema ya kwamba asipopata AU anafaa kustaafu. Je, kwa nini Kalonzo Musyoka staafu?
Sio mara kadha. Nilisema tu juzi na maoni yangu. Kwa sababu pia kuna umri, kuna vile sasa kuna lazima tuwe na kikundi ambacho kinaweza kuwa super statesman. Kwa mfano Uhuru Kenyatta amestaafu. Kustaafu sio kukosa heshima, lakini uamuzi wenyewe utakuwa ni Raila Amolo Odinga. Anajua wenzetu katika chama cha ODM huenda wakasema usistaafu. Kama uamuzi wenyewe ukitolea pia tunaheshimu. Lakini kilicho na maana ni kwamba Kalonzo Musyoka atakuwa kwa ndebe liwe liwalo.
Mheshimiwa Kalonzo, mshikamano wenu kwa huu muungano ambao mnataka kukarabati, kuna masuala mengi zaidi ambayo yanachipuka.
Kalonzo atakuwa kwa debe. Anasema hata Raila akianguka, Kalonzo mwenyewe atakuwa kwa siasa, atakuwa anaingia pale kwa debe. Kalonzo atakaribiana na Matiang'i na Ruto kweli?
Are you comparing Kalonzo with Matiang'i?
Sasa si ni wale watakuwa kwa tunatengeneza list hapo. Ruto hapo, Matiang'i, Kalonzo, akina Karua.
Nimekuambia Matiang'i, you should compare Matiang'i with those who have never contested in any elective position.
Buru, wacha nikwambie, hakuna kitu haiwezekani kwa hizi siasa. Vile Ruto tu aliingia, Matiang'i anaweza tingisha hii nchi sana.
So, diposa nakuambia hivi, Kalonzo tunajua aking'ang'ana upande wake anaweza pata kutoka milioni 3 hadi milioni 4. So pale katika meza ya negotiation ya wale ambao wanaweza wania kiti cha urais, Kalonzo Musyoka has a higher or an upper hand as compared to Matiang'i. Matiang'i yako na kibarua kigumu sana. Kwanza ni kufufua chama kilichokufa. Maana Jubilee ni chama ambacho kimekufa. Ni kukifufua kwanza. Kalonzo tayari yako na Wiper. And I can tell you for sure, if Raila Odinga is someone who is appreciative and gentle enough, he will support Kalonzo Musyoka, because Kalonzo has supported him around 4 times to become the president of Kenya. Why can't the former prime minister support him? So there are those people who will say in ODM, instead of supporting Ruto, we are going to support Kalonzo because this is a guy who has been together with us. You never know. So don't compare Kalonzo Musyoka with Matiang'i. Matiang'i has a very hard task to perform in order to become relevant or to be compared with relevant others. So I want to say about Kalonzo Musyoka. He has political experience. Matiang'i is a technocrat. He is a good manager. A good manager is not a good politician. He can manage economy but fail to manage politics. Kalonzo is both. He is a technocrat and also a politician. He knows how these things goes. That is why he became the vice president. I can tell you for sure, rising to become the second most powerful person in Kenya is not a joke. So there is something that Kalonzo knows that Matiang'i does not know. So Matiang'i has a long way to learn even the behaviors of the politicians. Yes, he has worked with them, but in a different, totally different capacity. So we cannot even compare the two. If I am to talk about Kalonzo Musyoka, I would say he is a good leader. If given a chance to become the president and get the right people to work with him, I think he can work like Kibaki, because he is not very greedy. We have greedy leaders. Kalonzo Musyoka is not one of them. He is rich, and I'm not saying he is not corrupt, but he is not as corrupt as other leaders. You can't compare him with people like Uhuru. You can't compare him with Ruto. You can't even compare him with the former prime minister. Kalonzo does not care much about enriching himself so much, which I think is a good thing. So I think he can work like Kibaki, because it is not that Kibaki was not corrupt. Maybe along the way, there are some things he did that were not supposed to be done, but he cared more about the country than himself. And when I think of Kalonzo Musyoka, I see him as someone who is not very selfish. He has gotten a chance of becoming the vice president, but he has not enriched himself extremely like we have seen other politicians do. So I think it's only that we are so tribal. But I think if he can convince Gachagua to support him, Central Kenya still remembers that in 2007, when things were very tough, when Kibaki had remained alone with very few members of parliament, it was Kalonzo Musyoka who came to the rescue of Kibaki. Without Kalonzo Musyoka, there was no way the former President Kibaki was going, the late Kibaki was going to sustain power. And that is why they called him Watermelon. They called Kalonzo Watermelon because of saving Kibaki's presidency in 2007. So we still remember, and the Central people still remember, that at a certain time, Kalonzo did a good thing, and he brought in some relief and some power to Kibaki when he needed someone to start with him. So there is a high possibility of Central Kenya to support Kalonzo than any other person. Remember, I normally tell people, maybe many people don't know, that the Kamba people and the Kikuyu community, they call each other Muthoniwa. Muthoniwa means the ones we intermarry with. So the Kikuyus marry from the Kaba people, and the Kaba people marry from the Kikuyu community. We marry each other. So, and also when it comes to the language, we speak the same language. When Kimanzi, you talk, you are Kamba, I'll pick several words. I'll understand what you are saying. When I speak my Kikuyu, you'll understand what I am saying, because we share so many words. We speak so many words in common. So having said that, I'm just trying to show that the difference, there is no much difference between Kambas and the Kikuyus. We are Bantus. We speak almost the same language. And we have worked together before. And it won't be very hard for anyone to sell Kalonzo in Central Kenya than it was to sell Raila Odinga to Central Kenya. You know, it was very easy for Ruto to penetrate Central Kenya because of how he worked, campaigned for Uhuru. it will also be very easy for Kalonzo to penetrate central Kenya because of how he worked with Kibaki, and also because of other factors that unites the two communities. Thank you, Kimanzi.
Perfect, Buru. Of course, in the comment section, I can see Awesome is very active there. Continue sending those comments. Of course, you know this is the Freak 24 political discussion. It seems that all these leaders are funny. They have one thing in common. Everyone wants Honorable Raila to leave political scene for them to thrive. So I support Honorable Raila for AUC seat. And also, Mburu, you are right. Politics in Kenya needs a very experienced person. You have to have a bird's eye view. Otherwise, one will find himself where Gachagua is currently. Muturi wants to be fired so that he can run to his community crying. Then he gets the opportunity to run for governor, but Ruto has remained silent. That is a smart move. That is awesome. In the comment section there, continue sending those comments in Africa 24. Yes, Buru, do you have some parting shots?
Yeah, I want to start by the comment there from Osam that in Kenya, for you to become a president, you require some experience and good experience in that matter. And he has put it very well. That's the reason why Gachagua was kicked out by Ruto, because he lacked something. There is something that Ruto knew that Gachagua never knew. That's why Gachagua trusted Ruto. He accepted to form a coalition with Ruto without entering into any agreement, even without a political party. He just trusted Ruto based on what Ruto was saying. So he didn't know that this is just a politician like any other, and he can change. That is why along the way, he has found so many obstacles and problems, because he was not well experienced when it comes to political field. He was just a one-term member of parliament. He had worked in other areas, but he had never involved himself into deep politics. The same case with Matiang'i. He needs to do a lot. He has a long way to go before he can understand these people. Right now, they are lying to him that you are the guy. But it will reach a point when they will ask him, how much money do you have? How much are you bringing on the table to campaign across the nation? He will say, I have 30 million or 50 million or even 100 million. It is not enough. To campaign to become the president of Kenya, you require billions, and also you require other people to bring money to support you. These people, they're even supported by other governments, and it will be very tough for someone like Matiang'i to be in a position to convince these heavyweights that they should support him. So he has a long way to go. But having said that, on my closing remarks, I want to say that we still wish the former Prime Minister well. If he wins, the AU seat is a plus for the nation of Kenya. It will be a good thing for us in a way, because Kenya will be seen as the one leading Africa, and we wish him well. However, I said here, basing on the analysis, the chances are very minimal, though many people, especially those who are in government, they want him to go so that he can give them breathing space. They are so much afraid that if he does not succeed in AU, he will come to destabilize them. So if he wins, it's a plus for Kenya. And if he does not win, it's also a victory for Kenya, because you come and put the government into checks and balances. So he is needed either way. He is needed in AU. We also need Raila Odinga to come and put Ruto where he belongs. Thank you so much, our viewers. This is Africa 24. Don't forget to subscribe. We feel encouraged, those who have been together with us and those who come to support us. Awesome. And the other people, God bless you and God do you good. Thank you. Bye.